Hi everyone, my name is Angelinah Sekonyela and I am a professional teacher. I am also your Miss Remarkable South Africa for 2024 finalist and I am on the KJ Real Talk podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome to the KJ Real Talk podcast. I am going to be your co-host. My name is AMAHLE SONGO and we are joined by Angelinah Sekonyela, who is an educator, a pageant queen and a compassionate community service advocate. Let us dive deep into her remarkable journey and her purpose-driven approach to life.
Hi everyone, my name is Angelinah Sekonyela. As you heard, I am the current Miss Remarkable finalist for 2024 and I'm also a teacher by profession.
Ooh, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Now we're going to be having an icebreaker question just to make you feel comfortable. So the question is, if you could have any superpower for one day, what would it be and how would you use it to empower the youth or make a positive impact in your community?
Sure, wow. Okay. I think I'd be able to vanish, right?
Okay.
Or teleport.
Interesting.
Because I love getting gifts for people. So I think I'd be able to just secretly go around changing people's lives, giving them gifts. So I'd like identify a gift and then I'd go around and hand out that gift to them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and no one would ever know
it was you.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. That is such an amazing answer. So now we're going to start with the questions, right? So the first question is, what sparked your interest in pageantry and how has it shaped your personal growth?
Sure, thanks for that question. So I usually tell people that I didn't go looking for pageantry, it came looking for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I remember I was still in varsity at the time and this lady, this white lady, her name was Vedette, she comes to me and she says, on Facebook, and she says, hey Angie, I'm a scout and I was told to scout for people to enter this pageant. It was called Justice Pageants, right?
Okay.
And then I was like, pageants, just like, okay, wow. Then I didn't really take her seriously and then she took my numbers and she WhatsApped me and then she asked me to send my documents. So I sent her my documents. I wasn't really keen, but I was just like, she's nice, so why not? And then, I entered this pageant and it was amazing. And I think I came to the realization that there was so much more to pageantry that people didn't really know about, and the pageantry was about law and everything was sponsored and it was really amazing journey and I grew so much from it, my public speaking skills, my confidence even as a person, being able to make an impact in my community, wearing my sash and going to creches and, just really making a difference. That's when I realized, maybe this pageant thing is something worth looking into and that's how the journey started.
Oh, that's such an amazing and it's so inspirational. My journey was way different than that. I think I started last year and my life was just ups and down. There was just this moment when I was sitting in my room and I'm like, I just want to be Kendall Jenner, man. Kendall Jenner walks down the runway like it's no one's business. She looks all pretty. So I feel like my journey was just way different than yours and you just inspired me so much right now. So second question is, how do you balance your pageant responsibilities with your profession as an educator?
Okay, I get that question a lot. So I plan, right? Because I always say if you don't plan, then you're kind of just moving and then everything's just chaos because you forget stuff. True. Especially like myself with so many things because I also play netball as well. Ooh. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing. So it's very important for me to plan. So in the beginning of the year, I'll have like this big calendar and then already on that calendar for like maybe the first 3 months, I'll put all the events that I want to attend because for me in the pageant industry, it's very important to expose yourself and to make connections with the right people and to, kind of also for media purposes as well, because you want to be on the red carpet from time to time. You want to dress up and look really great. So I make sure that in the beginning of every term I plan, and then usually I'll find like a young student that will assist me with my admin work. So if I need help, I always have someone that I can call to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Is it possible for you to step in and help me here? So maybe I'll pay that student and we'll work around something. But for me, it's always very important to plan ahead all the events, all the outreaches that I want to do, my marking. So I have sticky notes everywhere because it's very necessary for me to plan.
That's true. Just to balance everything properly.
Yes.
So when an event just pops out and you didn't plan for it, how do you adjust it into your schedule, if I would say?
Okay, so the first thing I'll do is I assess, is this event worth it? Is it worth my time? What am I going to be getting out of it? And if I feel that, okay, this event is an event that I actually want to attend, then I'll look back into my schedule, obviously, to see, does it fit into what I'm doing? And if it does, yes, then I'll go. But if it doesn't, then I'll obviously, have to reconsider not going. Because like I said, some of these events are money as well, so you cannot just take out money, and then the next thing you're broke, you don't have money. So you need to think about, you need a dress, you need makeup, you need so many stuff, you get what I'm saying? Yes. So I usually go back to my calendar and I check, can I go, can I not go? If I can go, then I'll prepare for it. If not, then I won't go.
I love the discipline. I love that. I wish I would do that also. Sometimes I just plan, I'm like, let's go, let's do it. Why not? You only live once. Yeah. So I really love that discipline. I'm learning something from you. Thank you so much. So share your experience as a Miss Jozisho winner 2021. What were your highlights and challenges?
Okay, so Miss Jozisho pageant was one of the, I think it was the second pageant that I did. It was at Maharishi Institute in Joburg. Okay. It was owned by this guy, he's called Jozisho. So I think he named it after himself. Okay. What I did at that pageant, I wanted to stand out. So I remember I went there with an afro. So I had, I did an afro. And I think from that pageant, what I learned was the power of standing out, right? Because I feel like sometimes in pageantry, we all want to be the same. So that pageant taught me that when I walk into a room, into a space, I'm not trying to be like you, I'm trying to be like me. And I'm going to be the best me that I can be. And that's what I did, on that day. I was the best version of myself and people loved it. The judges loved it. And hence, they decided that I should win. So that was really amazing.
That is amazing. You come into a room and you don't only want to fit in, but to stand out.
Absolutely. I always say to people, even if you're the only triangle among squares, it's okay. Wait for triangular opportunities to present themselves to you and then be the best triangle for the job. But if you're trying to cut your corners, you're a square, but you're trying to be a triangle, you're going to look weird. Somehow you're going to see,
you are not
this triangle is not make sure. You get what I'm saying? So,
I'm so inspired. Ooh, guys, you are the next Miss Remarkable South Africa. Why not? Why not?
Things.
So the next question is, how did being a Miss Remarkable South Africa, how is you are a finalist?
Yes, a finalist.
How is being a Miss Remarkable South Africa finalist and Miss Township South Africa second runner-up impact your life?
Okay, so when I was a Miss Township South Africa second runner-up, that was amazing. I was actually crowned later, right? Okay. So there was something that happened and the girl who had won was removed, so I was next on the list, so I became the second runner-up. So I wasn't necessarily crowned on stage. And for me, I kind of learned that, when God wants something for you, he's going to get it for you. I might not, because to an extent I was like, I didn't get my moment on stage, but then I realized, God wanted it for me anyway, and maybe there's a reason why that I didn't get it on stage, and He knows. I always say everything happens for a reason. So I was then called later, and I had a homecoming. My sister did a homecoming, so that was really nice. And I used my power of the sash to continue to empower my community, to make an impact, to make a difference, to show up. And I always say there's something profound about showing up, because you don't know who's on the other side of the room and what they have for you. So for me, it's always important. Even now as a finalist, I always say I never behave like a finalist or semi-finalist. Yes. I behave like the winner. Okay. So that whether I win or not, it doesn't really make a difference. I take my finalist sash and I still show up with it as though I've won already. Like last week I was at Mr. South Africa. And by just wearing my sash, being on that red carpet, I had so many people coming, taking pictures, and it was so fun. And I was just like, I don't really have to win to do this. Yes, winning, that's okay, but we don't always have to, the journey is more important than the destination, you know. So yeah,
that is absolutely true. Yeah. So were you a Miss Township South Africa runner-up this year or last year?
No, 2020, the year before last, 2023.
Oh, 2023.
Yeah. 2023,
oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what does representing a purpose rather than just a title mean to you?
So for me, I believe that sometimes people think about wearing a sash as just something, you look cute and you're just walking around. But I think there's a purpose attached to the title, and as a pageant queen you need to realize that, or else you're just failing yourself. Because I don't think being a pageant queen is just about being the prettiest girl in the room. It's about representing the young girls that are looking towards you, you know, people who are watching you. You know, I had a pageant coach and she said, do you know what model means? Model means you represent everything that society should actually look like. She's like, when they create a house, they first create a model of the house, and then they create the house. So you are a representation of what your society should be like, you know. So that's what I take pageantry as, to say I am modeling everything that is good, that I hope that society will see in me and mimic and, you know, see as good. So yeah.
Oh, I love the answer already. Man. Okay, so can you tell us more about the KasiYouthEmpowermentMovement program? What inspired you to start it?
Sure. Wow. Lol. I haven't got to this question in a long time. So I started the KasiYouthEmpowermentMovement. I was 17. So I think I was in my first year of teaching at UJ. And
at 17?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see when you go through the Instagram page, I was very little, you know, when I started.
Okay.
And what inspired, as I grew up in a township, right? And I started realizing growing up that getting out of the township is not an easy thing, especially the one that I come from. I come from Epegestal, you know, Kaslamakas. But you know, the place is infested by so much lack that people go in the continuous cycle of poverty, especially young people. They fall pregnant, they go next door, they build a shack there, they live with a boyfriend, and the poverty cycle just continues. So then I decided I was able to break out of the cycle of poverty and make something of myself. And I was one of the few, if not only, that I know that managed to get out of Epegestal. And I decided that what is the whole point of us coming out of the townships but not going back and serving the same people that we grew up with or that are coming behind us? So I was like, I'm going to start a program where I'm going to go back into the townships and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to help people how to make CVs. I'm going to help grade 12s apply for university, for bursaries. I'm going to do seminars that empower youth. We're going to talk about teenage pregnancy. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about everything that has to do with what it is to be a township girl. And I want to show the people in the township that it's possible. And I always say, when you go up, take someone else with you. Because it's kind of pointless that we get out of the townships and then we forget that's where we actually came from. So yeah.
Very inspiring story. So how do you think youth empowerment can positively impact communities rather than where you only came from?
Sure. You know, the saying sounds very cliche. I would say the future is the youth. But it is the truth. The future, you know. And if we can try and shape young people to realize that and to want better for themselves. Because I always say that our parents didn't really have the opportunity to become better and to be better. They didn't really have the resources, but we do. All we have to do is to tap into it and, you know, be educated and realize and be resilient. Sometimes we're lazy, you know, and we really need to wake up and to realize that as young people, there's so many opportunities. I mean, when I finished school, I didn't go directly to university. I actually took a gap year program. There's a gap year program that I did in Johannesburg, and it exposed me to so much. And I always say there's so much that people can do even after they finish school. So that it's just that people are not doing the research. They think, good, see, if you pass with, you know, low marks or you don't get a chance to go to university, it's not possible for these internships. There's so many things that young people can do out there. If just we become educated and we do our research and somebody comes back to tell us about those things, then it will be great.
That is true. That is so true. Hey, my sister, I am so, like, I feel like I'm being with my therapist here, like, you're talking to me. I love it so much. I love it so much. So what values do you aim to instill in the young people you work with?
Sure. Okay, so I'll use the values that we use at work, right? So it's excellence, respect, truth, and stewardship, right? And I believe there's quite a deep connection in all those things. The one umbrella being excellence. So if you have stewardship over your life, over the things God has given you, no matter how little, you start where you are with what you have. God sees that. And I always say that when you start and you step in, God will meet you halfway, and sometimes we just want to relax and wait for God to do stuff, but God wants you to wake up, because if God can't trust you with 50 cents, why will He give you 10 rands? You get what I'm saying? And then respect for people, respect for yourself. And I always say to people, no matter how popular, how rich, how amazing you can think you are never too pretty to respect people. You're never too amazing. It's your responsibility, especially as a model, to walk into a space and show people, you greet everyone, you say thank you, you say please to the waiter, to the lady cleaning, to everyone. Respect goes a long way. Yeah. And people notice when you respect them, and as even as people of color, we grow up with being taught you respect people, you speak to adults a particular way, you talk to people a certain way. And I think it's very important that we don't forget, respect. And I think excellence for me, I always say everything that you do, make sure that you do it and you do it well.
Absolutely. So how do you measure the success of your community initiatives?
So one of the initiatives that I've been doing every year, the gap year program that I took, I make sure that every year I take a few students for the same interview so that they can go and experience the program, as it changed my life. And I believe that especially I actually identify particular learners, because I don't think the program is for everyone, but I do think there are particular learners that I'll look at and be like, okay, God, maybe this child. So like yesterday I took 2 kids for the interview, and they did well. They haven't called them yet, but I hope they will call them back, even if they just take one. And for me, it's very important, because then I can see that I'm growing and I'm making an impact. And even when I was teaching in Paris, I taught high school. So I took a group of young girls and I decided, I'm going to start with these girls from grade 10 to matric, and I'm going to mentor them. And for me, it was important to take them through the 3 years so that I can see that I'm making a difference, because it's pointless to go and paint a wall and walk away. You know what I'm saying? It's very important to make sure whatever you start, you see it through. And most of those girls, some of them are in university now. One of them did the Joshua program last year. So I can see that I'm making a difference by those people, that I can look back and say, okay, she went to university, she did this, she did that, and I feel like, I'm doing my part. So,
That is inspirational. Thank you so much for that. Big ups to you. Big ups to you. So how does your experience as an educator inform your approach to community work?
Okay, I think when you're a teacher, you work with people generally. You work with parents, you work with learners, and you walk into ShopRite and you hear teacher. Yeah. And you're like, oh, Lord,
And we get so excited when you see it.
Yeah, so I think just being humble. I think every time I have to pinch myself and say, oh, I'm a teacher, because I don't get used to, children calling me teacher. And sometimes I even refer to adults as teachers or ma'am, because for me it's still kind of strange. Your life moved so fast. How did I jump from here to there? So I think just being able to be humble and walking in the community and people know you and say, oh, Teacher Angie, thank you so much for doing this with our children. I think for me, I get to make a difference even when I'm not seeing it. So yeah.
True. That is so true. So, I ask these questions. What role do you think education plays in empowering young people?
Sure. I think if you are not, the Bible says God's people are perishing because of lack of knowledge, right? And I think if you're not educated, there's this movie I watched of this girl. She said she wanted to be a killer, and the teacher turns around and says, even if you had to learn how to pull a trigger, being a killer is not just about pulling a trigger, it's about learning how people work, how their brains work, because you're going to end up killing everyone because you don't know how people work, you don't know slopes, you don't know where to stand, you know people's thinking, there's a level of education that you need in everything, no matter what you want to be. So even if you want to be a singer, you still need to go to school, you still need to know how to, and I always say, school makes you resilient. True. And there's some kind of discipline that comes with being at school. Mm-hmm. And if you cannot do that, then we kind of question, can you see this one through?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you cannot see just being in school on its own and being resilient and studying and having some kind of discipline, learning how to write, learning how to do all these things, how do we know you can see? And I think that's why it's just a requirement in most industries that you have a matric. Yeah. And we think, oh no, but we don't need we need matric because it shows us, before it even shows us how smart you are, it shows us how committed you are.
Yes, absolutely. So what advice do you have to those kids who think, no, school, nah, I need to just go make money. This school thing, I don't have time for it.
I think, why not do both? Why not go to school and then still have your side hustle where you're pursuing to make money?
Yeah.
And if the one doesn't work out, you have the other.
True.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
guys. So, how do you balance teaching responsibilities with your community and pageant commitments?
So I've already answered the question.
You did?
Yes. But yeah, like I said, I plan a lot, and then I make sure that in my planning everything is put the way it should be.
Okay, sorry for asking that question again. I don't know if I'm going back or so. We saw your quote on your biography which says, "When life is sweet, say thank you and celebrate. When life is bitter, say thank you and grow." Resonates deeply. Can you elaborate on its significance?
Sure. So when life is great, I live in the moment and I'm like, God, thank you that I get to experience this goodness and this abundance. But when life is tough, I've learned to do the same thing. True. And to ask God, in this particular season, what are you trying to teach me? Because I don't want to go out of tough seasons had not learned the lessons that God is trying to teach me. Because most of us just are trying to just swim through the pain or swim through the storm, but we're not asking ourselves, what are you trying to teach me about you? What are you trying to teach me about myself? What are you trying to teach me about people in this particular season of the storm? So for me, it's very important to sit in the storm and not rush through it, because most of us just want to get out of it. But it's very important to sit in it and talk to God and say, what do you want me to get out of this and grow?
Oh, we understand where it comes from. It has such a deep elaboration, and we really do appreciate that. So how do you prioritize self-care and self-growth amidst your busy schedule?
Sure, I love me. So I love having me time a lot, right? Taking myself like on a date, reading a book. I believe mental health is very important, and it's very important that you take care of yourself, especially when you're pouring into other people. You cannot pour from an empty cup, so you need to also pour into yourself. So for me, it's very important to spend time alone, to have my quiet times with God, to pray. Sometimes just go on a date and order lunch and sit there, or watch my favorite series. Yes, probably I won't get enough time to watch a lot of episodes, but it's very important, because sometimes people think just going on and on is what makes you successful. But no, you need to stop in between everything and assess yourself. Am I okay? Am I doing fine? And am I still enjoying, life in general? And you're able to reflect, to say, okay, maybe I'm not fine. And sometimes you're not fine and you don't even know why you are not okay. Yes. And you just keep going, and then one day you just blow up and people are just like, what?
What happened?
So you get what I'm saying? So it's very important in between everything to take time to yourself and to say, okay, I'm spending time with me, even if it's for this hour only, even if it's for this 30 minutes. I'm just going to take a walk and go to the park. I'm just going to, sit by myself and read a book. I'm just going to watch a series. I'm going to watch my favorite movie. And I'm telling you, an hour won't make that much of a difference that now you are failing at school or you are not getting anything done. There's no way, you'll still be able to do everything that you do. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. So it comes to our last question. I enjoyed this talk. I didn't want it to end. So what advice would you give to young people striving to make a positive impact in their communities?
The advice I would give young people is right? Be in demand, be resilient, and never tell yourself you can't do it. You can do it. It is possible. All you need to do is step into your power, start somewhere with what you have. I always say 3 things that keep me going: who I look up to, who I look forward to, and who I'm chasing. I look up to God because I believe that there's an invisible hand that's constantly orchestrating my life and has made me the person that I am. Who I look forward to is making a difference. I always look forward to seeing the next person that I can impact and make a difference in their lives. And who I'm chasing is my hero, and my hero is me. And even in the next 5 years, if you ask me, am I my hero? I'll tell you, no, I'm not my hero, because my hero is in the next 5 years. And that leaves me with someone and something to keep chasing.
Ooh. So, She spoke, and that is it from us, guys. Thank you for joining us. We learned so much from you, and may you continue. May you continue being blessed, man. We love you so much. Bye.